Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the virtual open house of the College of Engineering at Cal Poly Pomona. We have a really packed program for you today, consisting of this main session, as well as individual department sessions later on. In the next hour and a half, you will hear from representatives from all the academic departments and student support units within our college, and from a couple of university offices. And most importantly, you will hear from some of our wonderful students as well. I hope through today's event, you will learn more about engineering as a profession, the various disciplines within engineering, and the excellent engineering programs we have to offer here at Cal Poly Pomona. Before you go into the presentations, I would like to ask our interim dean, Dr. Allison Baskey, to say a few words. Dean Baskey, please.
Thank you so much, Associate Dean Young. And again, good morning and welcome to our virtual College of Engineering open house. We have created this event for prospective students such as yourselves to visit with our college team and learn more about our programs here at Cal Poly Pomona. Remember that an engineering major prepares you with problem solving, teamwork, and leadership skills. It is a career in high demand that benefits society and has great job opportunities with substantial starting salaries. Remember that College of Engineering students are prepared for life, not just for a job, through courses that build their knowledge and provide practical learning experiences. So what does the College of Engineering at Cal Poly Pomona offer you? Our faculty are committed to student success and bring their expertise to life in the classroom. Many also have strong relationships with industry to help students with internships and networking for jobs. We also have career services to help with those first internships and building their career path. Our alumni mentor students and help with that landing the first job in their companies or others. We have outreach to the community, such as Femineers for K through 12. And our students connect outside the classroom by joining more than 50 student clubs for co-curricular activities that build their problem solving, teamwork, and leadership skills. So enjoy our program today and ask lots of questions. We would love to see you here next fall as part of the incoming class of 2026. So with that, I would love to hand back the program to our Associate Dean, Ron Young.
Thank you, Dean Baskey. Well, the next part of the program consists of a series of presentations in this main session, starting with an overview of the College of Engineering. Again, after the main session, we will have individual department sessions when you will have a chance to ask questions. So please hold your questions until then. Now let's start with my brief overview of the College of Engineering. Next slide, please. Now to begin, I realize that some of you may not know what engineering is all about. So I would like to first spend just a minute here to explain what engineering is. One definition of engineering that you can find in a dictionary is that engineering is the design and manufacture of complex products. There are different kinds of engineers designing and building different kinds of complex products. And I've given some examples here on this slide. For example, a self-driving car, definitely a complex product, is designed and built primarily by mechanical engineers. A suspension bridge, like the Golden Gate Bridge, is designed and constructed by civil engineers. Similarly, a cell phone, like maybe an iPhone that many of you may be looking at right now, is designed and built by electrical engineers. A rocket by aerospace engineers. An oil refinery by chemical engineers. And an efficient manufacturing process is primarily designed and implemented by industrial engineers. So as you can see, there are many kinds of engineers out there designing different kinds of complex products that we are trying to design and manufacture. Also, you may have heard of the term STEM. STEM, S-T-E-M, stands for the interrelated fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. To design and build complex products and to solve engineering problems, we really need to apply science, mathematics, and technologies. If you're good at science and mathematics, perhaps engineering may be a great profession for you to consider pursuing. So how do you become an engineer, a professional engineer? Well, you typically would need a college education. This is where our various bachelor's and master's degree programs in engineering here at Cal Poly Pomona would come into the discussion now, because these programs prepare our students for careers in engineering. Next slide, please. Here is a list of all the Bachelor of Science programs in engineering and engineering technology we have to offer at Cal Poly Pomona. They cover all of the most popular disciplines in engineering, from mechanical, civil, electrical, and computer engineering to chemical, industrial, and manufacturing engineering, and engineering technology as well. Note that some of our programs are so-called impacted, which basically means that they are of higher demand, that there are more qualified applicants than we have places for. In other words, the impacted programs are more selective and they're harder to get into. All our programs are so-called ABET accredited, which means that all our programs have been judged to have met an established quality standard. As you can see, we are a large college with about 6,000 undergraduate students, and we graduate about 12,000 of them each year. It is no surprise that 1 in about 13 engineers in the state of California is a graduate of our college. Next slide, please. While CPP is one of the 23 campuses of the California State University system that typically do not offer PhD programs, we do offer several master's programs as listed here in aerospace, civil and electrical engineering, in engineering management, and in materials, mechanical, and systems engineering. There is a total of about 360 MS students, and every year we graduate about 140 of them. Next slide, please. So what's so special about our programs? Well, we pride ourselves in offering practice-oriented programs founded on our learn by doing educational philosophy. We call this the Cal Poly Pomona Engineering Advantage. Our programs offer students more personal attention with smaller classes, more practical experience obtained through a large number of hands-on activities and in labs and team projects, and more career power with our graduates sought after by the best companies and commanding high starting salaries. Next slide, please. We have been successful in producing well-educated engineers and have built an excellent reputation in the industry and among our peer institutions. And the US News and World Report agrees in that, shown by the high rankings we have given, or they have given our programs, as shown on this slide. Among the 220 institutions that do not offer doctoral degrees, our overall engineering program ranking is 11th nationally. Among these top 11 institutions, there are only only two large state-supported public universities, and you can probably guess who they are, right? I hope. Yes, they are the two Cal Polys, Cal Poly Pomona and our sister campus at San Luis Obispo. We really are the two best state-supported public universities that offer engineering programs among non-doctoral granting institutions. And we're very proud of that. Most of our individual engineering programs are also highly ranked, as shown on the slide here, nationally. with the industrial and manufacturing engineering and aerospace engineering programs ranking in the top 3. A ranking that some of you may care about, actually, who have to pay for a college education. Perhaps many of the parents in the audience. That ranking is the bottom one as shown on the slide, is that CP has been ranked by the best value schools as offering the 7th best value engineering programs. And for your information, the current annual total in-state tuition and fees for a full-time undergraduate student at Cal Poly Pomona is about $7,400, which is very reasonable indeed. Next slide, please. We are also about upward mobility. We have a very diverse student body consisting of 53 first generation, 41 low income, and 42 underrepresented minority students. We have done very well in helping our graduates climb the economic ladder, as shown by a recent top 10 ranking by CollegeNet in upward mobility of our graduates, and as recent top 3 ranking in terms of the social mobility index. Next one, please. Research has shown consistently that a diverse workforce makes an organization more effective, more successful, and ultimately more profitable. As shown by the data from the American Society for Engineering Education and Diverse Issues in Higher Education, we graduate a large number of Hispanic, Asian American, and women engineers to help diversify the nation's workforce and thereby increasing its effectiveness. Next slide, please. This is one of the reasons why a lot of the biggest and best companies recruit our students and graduates for internships and full-time jobs. Companies like Southern California Edison, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, IBM, Chevron, the Jet Propulsion Lab, and many others shown here. In fact, earlier in the week, I got an email from a recruiter from Tesla wanting to recruit our students for internships. Next slide, please. Our Career Center regularly organizes career fairs to connect students with potential employers. Many organizations prefer our graduates because they are so-called day one professionals. To quote our former Dean, Dr. Joe Rancis, day one professionals are those who have 2 feet on the ground, 2 hands on the problems, and add values to their organization from day one professionals. Note that the average starting salary of our engineering graduates is about $69,000, which is fairly attractive. I hope you agree as well. Yeah. So next slide, please. Now, lastly, I would like to just touch on our educational philosophy of learn by doing. To me, learn by doing means lots of labs and projects. Our students have to learn through hands-on activities in many required laboratory courses, many design courses, and of course, the senior design project, which is the capstone project in which our students work in teams to apply what they have learned in previous courses to complete a realistic practical design project, often based on a real project from the industry. The vision of our college is described by this statement of aspiration shown on this slide here. Learn by doing education prepares engineers to transform imagination into reality. We endeavor to educate whole brain engineers who are innovative and well-rounded, who use their imagination to good effect. As Albert Einstein once said, logic will get you from A to B, imagination will take you everywhere. Next slide, please. To support Learn by Doing, we have a large number of well-equipped laboratories. If you look at the statistics, 62% of our instructional spaces are labs, and 80% of the total floor space of our engineering buildings is dedicated to labs. There is an impressive total of 71 labs specifically designed for undergraduate teaching. Next slide, please. Hands-on learning also occurs through many student competition team projects, Shown here are the Formula SAE team and the ASCE Concrete Canoe team in action. In addition, there are over 40, maybe 50 now, engineering clubs and organizations offering opportunities for students to learn essential skills. Skills such as communication, teamwork, and leadership skills that are so important and will serve our graduates well in their professional careers. Next slide, please. I mentioned earlier the all-important senior design projects as a learning experience for our students. Every spring, we host an annual project symposium and showcase to provide an opportunity for students to present their senior projects. Shown here are 3 students presenting their senior project at a recent project symposium showcase. Now, to wrap up this very brief overview of our college, I'd like to reiterate the Cal Poly Pomona Engineering Advantage. We offer more personal attention, more practical experience, and more career power. With that, I would like to introduce the next speaker, Monica Case, our Engineering Advising Coordinator, who will start the next part of our program on resources and programs that support student success. Monica, please.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. We're excited to hear of your interest in Cal Poly Pomona. And as you learn more about our university, we want to share with you a little bit more about our resources as well as the advising opportunities that we offer our students. Next slide, please. So at the university, we do want our students to feel supported, not only in the college level, but at the university level. At the university level, there are lots of support services that are offered to our students. Many of these support services we often refer students to along the way as they come to us seeking advice and needing support, maybe for different aspects of their education or their personal lives that they might need. That includes the issues like the Bronco Advising Center, which provides general advising to our students. They also can provide general information when students need quick answers on things like financial aid, other resources on campus that they might need to seek out. Counseling services, we find that mental health is also very important on our campus, and we want our students to feel supported. So oftentimes we will make referrals to counseling services, and counseling services does provide a variety of resources for our students, including things like not only one-on-one counseling and support, but also group advising for things like time management and how to deal with certain stressful situations or particularly stressful times during the semester. There's health services available to our students as well. Career Center, as Dr. Young mentioned already, the Career Center works very actively with our college to provide events such as career fairs. They also provide things like resume building, mock interviews. They bring many employers onto campus and set up interviews on campus itself so that students can get that experience and meet with those potential employers. So that's an important resource that we encourage all of our students, even as early as freshman year, to take advantage of and make sure they connect with. The Disability Resource Center, if you are already receiving support services through your high school or your community college, we encourage you to continue receiving those support services on our campus should you need them. These accommodations are there to make sure that you are having equal opportunity, the same as every other student, to make sure that you're getting all the support you need to be successful in those courses. Financial aid office is really important as well. Many of you will be dealing with them early on, and you'll be learning more from them as you learn about our campus and explore the opportunity to come to our campus. And then there's also the Learning Resource Center, which provides just one of the many tutoring services on our campus, along with writing support and other support services to help you be successful in your courses. Next slide, please. Now, this is our Engineering Advising Center. Our Engineering Advising Center is comprised of 4 professional staff advisors, myself and 3 others, and we all take on different departments in our college and specifically focus on those students. We are available to all students. However, we do try to also focus on particular students so that we become experts, if you will, on making sure that the students are taking the right courses in those departments. In addition to our 4 staff advisors, next slide, please. We have 1 retention and graduation specialist, and this individual really focuses in on our students when they are facing academic difficulty, to make sure that we get them back on track and get them back into good academic standing. And for those students who are also maybe taking a little longer to get to that path to graduation, and we want to maybe help them figure out how to get back on track and get there sooner rather than later. And that's where this individual comes in and really works with those students. We also have our career specialists. Now, this is a person who is our direct liaison to the Career Center, and they work specifically by having one-on-one sessions with our students, helping those students build the resume so that they can make sure when they go out to meet with those potential employers and industry that they are 100% prepared and truly show what it is that they are capable of and what they have learned on our campus in our college. Next slide, please. So in terms of advising and what we provide as a college, we do have dual advising in our college. Now, this means that we expect our students to not only take advantage of meeting with us in the advising center as professional staff advisors, but we also want our students to meet with their faculty advisors. Between faculty and staff advisors, we all provide different types of advising and different information that will help the student to be most successful. In terms of the advising center, we're the ones that, we could really provide longer term course planning, GE course advising, as well as information on general policies and procedures. Your faculty are the content experts. They're the ones that will help you make sure you're taking the right courses to meet those career goals that you might have, research opportunities, things along those ways. So we encourage you, once you're on the campus, to please make sure that you check in with us and your faculty advisors along the way. I'm going to pass it now back to Dr. Young to introduce our next speaker.
Thank you, Monica. Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Lily Gassage, Director of our Maximizing Engineering Potential Program. Dr. Gassage.
Thank you so much, Associate Dean Young. First of all, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I see there's a little over 215 of you. Congratulations on being here so far. I'm the Director of the Maximizing Engineering Potential Program here at Cal Poly Pomona. Next slide, please. This program was created in 1983, and the original intent was to increase the number and diversity of students who are graduating in the technical fields, although we support every student. It is a retention and academic enrichment program, including first-generation minority women engineering students and low-income students. We have a lot of close collaboration with engineering. I'll talk a little bit more about that, and everybody can be involved. We have about 1,800 students. Some of them are members of our MEP program. Others are in what we call the MEP affiliates program, and I'll make a differentiation in a bit as well. Next slide, please. There are 3 milestone events, and I will give you the dates in a little bit. The first milestone program is actually in the summer. It's a 3-day program. It's fully paid by the College of Engineering MEP. You stay in the dorms. Everything is paid for, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The second is the Fall Freshman Kickoff and Mentor Match, although California Community College transfer students are also encouraged to attend. In the spring, we have a recognition event where we provide scholarships and stipends and Bronco Bucks to students who have straight A's in the first year or A's in Calculus 1 and Physics and above. So that is cash that goes directly to students for academic recognition. One of the highlights of the program is what we call the mandatory tutoring program. Students who are in the MEP program are required to take at least 2 hours of tutoring each week. We also offer a number of supplemental instruction sections for many of our engineering programs. And that next bullet should actually be 2 bullets. We have a peer mentoring program, and we have field trips to industry. We offer scholarships and stipends that are set aside specifically for MEP students. For students who are aspiring to go into research, and those are thinking of going into a post-baccalaureate program, after graduation, we also have an undergraduate research learning community where we do fund travel to a number of R1 or Research 1 universities. Next slide, please. As an MEP student, if you are a freshman, we do have in the first year set aside engineering 1,000 lecture sessions that are offered in the fall, and in the spring, the succeeding spring, you will move as a cohort to the laboratory section of the course. You move along with your cohort students. Next slide. We offer peer mentoring to all students. It is required for first-time freshmen, but it is an option for transfer students who are coming from the California community college or another, transferring from another four-year institution. The peer mentors are assigned prior to fall during the summer program. Every month, MEP will host what we call an M&M event, which is mentor-mentee. This is facilitated by peer mentors and a staff. 3 times a month, the mentee will meet with the mentor. We also have student ambassadors that support our program. Peer mentors normally interact about 3 times, but we encourage more often. Next slide, please. Regarding our tutoring and supplemental instruction program, post-COVID, we have started to offer tutoring and supplemental instruction Monday through Sunday. We have sessions that are in the AM and PM and also in the late afternoon. Tutoring is offered for all of the fundamental courses, including math, physics, chemistry, and many of the engineering courses, depending on the number of students that we can recruit. SI is supplemental instruction. This is different from tutoring. It's a facilitated tutoring, and it lasts about 50 minutes. It's led by a student facilitator. There are no faculty in the class, and students normally attend SI twice a week, although we have 3 sessions of SI for each engineering course. The students who we hire for supplemental instruction are required or actually provided with priority registration. So if you can go to, if you are an audience member, if you can go to another browser and navigate to menti.com, M-E-N-T-I, www.menti.com. So open another browser. And when you open menti.com, you can enter in the code 3291422 at the top. So go ahead and open another browser. And our first question is this. Studies show that high dosage tutoring, one-on-one, excuse me, or small groups is most effective. How many times a week is tutoring most effective? And this is a live poll. I'll give it just a few more seconds. Those of you who can navigate to another browser, www.menti.com, and just enter in the code at the top, 3291422. So the question is there on the screen. What is high dosage tutoring? What is the most effective type of tutoring you can get? Is it twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week? And by times, I mean hours. So is it 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week, or 5 hours? Okay, we want to go ahead and move forward, and it looks like the majority of you are correct. Amazing. It is actually 3 times a week. So to get the bang out of your buck for tutoring, it is 3 times a week. MEP does have a 2-hour-a-week minimum, but many of our students will actually go for 4 times a week. Thank you so much. And the very next question, please, Matt. Next question on the menti.com. How much does high dosage tutoring, meaning through 2 to 3 times a week with a one-to-one tutor or small group tutor cost on average per year? And this is an interesting question because the tutoring we offer in MEP in the College of Engineering is absolutely free. So I wanted to take a look at how much it would cost if you were paying for this on your own. And it looks like most of you are saying about $2,800 a year. The answer is actually $3,800 a year. That's quite a bit. But thank you, you're very close. Thank you very much. And we'll go back to the original slide. Thank you, Matt. So I wanted just to have those polls just to give you a context of what we offer is completely free to students. Some of this tutoring and supplemental instruction is offered through the college funding, and others is from external funding. So if you are in the MEP program, I highly recommend that you do our high impact core tutoring program. Thank you so much. Next slide. MEP does, as I mentioned, offer scholarships, stipends, Bronco bucks, and conference support for students who are in the MEP program. So in the spring, for fall, if you get straight A's, we do provide funding for you directly into your student ID card. Those are called Bronco bucks, and you can use it for whatever you want, books, food, meals. We also offer cash for A's in the first year math and physics courses. Next slide, please. This is our summer program. So during our summer program, we have anywhere from 150 to 200 students. And again, it's a 2-3-day program, one for freshmen and one for transfers. Next slide, please. And we'll go through these slides very rapidly. MEP also have industry workshops. Twice a week, we have industry coming to do works for students. And so the MEP students are introduced to industry well before the rest of the campus. And we have at least 4 dozen engineering industries that come throughout our year. Next slide, please. For students who are engaged in our leadership program, we have an MEP Ambassadors program, and that is offered every semester. There is a ropes course down at the lower end of campus, and this is a 4-hour course that we put our students through to engage them in teamwork and group work. Next slide, please. For students who are planning to go into undergraduate research, again, we do pay from some travel to certain R1 Research 1 universities and introduce them to post-baccalaureate programs that are partnering with us. Next slide, please. Go ahead and take a snapshot of this. These are our deadlines for the year. There will be an online application that's going to be offered to you via email in late January, early February. So the applications are due May 14th, right after what we call ECD, or Enrollment Confirmation Deposit deadline. There will be a preliminary notice of admission May 21st. Final would be May 28th. And if you are admitted to MEP, you'll be required to attend a learning and community pre-orientation, pre-summer orientation date of June 1st. So during the summer, you will get priority registration. After the priority registration, you'll pick one of 2 sessions, either July 7th through 9. By that time, we're hoping we'll be back in the dorms. And if you're a transfer student, you will most likely pick the second session, July 14th through 16th. Next slide, please. And if you have any questions at the end, please feel free to send your email to mep@cpp.edu or type some questions in the Q&A below, and I'll be happy to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Gasic. Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Christina Rigdon, Director of our Cal Poly Pomona Women in Engineering program. Dr. Rigdon, please.
Thank you, Dr. Young. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Christina Rigdon, and I am the Director of CPP, which stands for the Cal Poly Pomona Women in Engineering program. Next slide, please. CPP was founded in 2012 as a student support program within the Dean's Office for the College of Engineering. Our program is open to all College of Engineering students. Membership is not required, and all of our events and support services are offered free of charge. Next slide, please. We also have an advisory board within CPP, and the purpose of the CPP advisory board is to advance the mission and outcomes of CPP to enhance recruitment, retention, and graduation of women in engineering, and to create a supportive community and climate within the college for all to thrive. Our board was just established in fall 2019. We also have a mentorship program where mentees participate in one-on-one mentoring from peer mentors, and then they participate in group mentoring with industry and faculty members. Next slide, please. We have several events for our students. We have a welcome lunch. We do community gatherings with our faculty. We also have faculty-student chats, which we refer to as WeChats. We have quarterly ambassador meetings. We have WeTalks, a graduate recognition, and we also have several K-12 outreach events, like Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day, Engineering Girl, and our Femineer program. Next slide, please. There are also several benefits of participating in CPP activities, like networking with industry reps and alumni, making lifelong friends, and scholarships and leadership opportunities. Next slide, please. CPP has been recognized with national awards, including Inspiring Program in STEM in 2018 by Insight into Diversity magazine, the Women in Engineering Initiative Award in 2019 by the Women in Engineering Proactive Network, known as WEPAN, and Program of the Year in 2019 by the Collaborative Network for Engineering and Computing Diversity, also known as Connected. Next slide. And here is our contact information with our email and our websites if there are any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rigdon. This concludes the presentations on resources and programs that support student success within our college. Next, we will hear from a panel of our student ambassadors, engineering student ambassadors. First, we have Jack Henderson. Jack, please.
Yeah, hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. My name is Jack. I'm an engineering student ambassador, like Dr. Young said, and I'm also a senior electromechanical systems engineering student. And today I hope to answer the question, why CPP? Next slide, please. First and foremost, in my decision to attend was setting. Cal Poly Pomona boasts a beautiful campus set in a slower paced region of the bumper to bumper LA Metro, with just some truly stunning architecture, such as what you see here in the background, known as the CLA building. That's the pointy building in the background there, along with the new student service building in the foreground. And from any number of vantage points on or around campus, whether right off the beaten path or up a quick hike up the campus trails, on most days you can see anything from the nearby agriculture to the bustling interchange to the distant mountain ridgeline of Mount Baldy just off campus. Next slide, please. One of Cal Poly Pomona's greatest strengths is its hands-on approach and also the number of student organizations that it supports. And I think this picture of one of the rockets from the Liquid Rocket Lab goes to show just how unique the process of earning your engineering degree can be. Clubs just like Liquid Rocket Lab receive an excess of funding from big name industry partners who often recruit directly from the club roster when it comes time to start a career. Next, please. Another incentive Cal Poly Pomona offers during non-pandemic times is access to a vast network of labs and equipment, both through classes and also extracurricular clubs. Here, for instance, is an inside look at the manufacturing lab in Building 17, where you can see students are actually taking blocks of metal and honing them into a finished shape using sort of a pre-programmed design. Next, please. And for those looking for an in on research, or those who plan on continuing on for a master's or PhD after earning their bachelor's, the Office of Undergraduate Research actually houses a number of programs in partnership with organizations like NSF, the National Science Foundation, which provides students ample funding to bring both scientific ideas and entrepreneurial projects to market. Here, for instance, you'll see a group of students standing around what appear to be some unmanned UAV planes, also with a number of hexacopter drones in the foreground. And this was all made possible by support from campus research organizations like the OUR. Next, please. Just to touch base on maybe some of the questions you may have, for as long as this time of virtual learning extends and beyond for that matter, another important part of learning is getting familiar with sort of the software-based tools. So I know someone asked a bit about the 2D or 3D drawings in CAD. We use software like this to simulate drawings and structural analysis and so forth, and also to simulate, complicated control infrastructure in programs like MATLAB, or even aerodynamic testing of airflows over a wing, sort of like what you see here with ANSYS. The key point being that software and programming environments are key in completing coursework, conducting research, and also in being competitive in the real world once you do find a job. Next, please. And then, sorry, before I hand over, just sort of keeping the real world in sight, I'd say the best favor you can do for yourself to set yourself ahead is to stay curious and to always chase opportunity. Cal Poly Pomona will present opportunity to those who seek it. So just remember that and you'll really be on the right track to succeed. All right, thanks for listening. I'll now hand it over to Hunter Vasquez.
Okay, well, thank you, Jack. Yeah, Hunter, yeah, go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Hunter Vasquez. I'm an engineering student ambassador. So I transferred to Cal Poly Pomona in fall 2019 from a community college. I'm from Southern California. My major is Electromechanical Systems Engineering Technology, short for ENSET. Next slide, please. So I've had really great experiences at Cal Poly, connecting with students and professors. Coming from a community college is really great because I get to meet new people and the professors really care, and there's always great clubs and programs going on. There's many engineering programs to meet new people, professors, and a lot of great projects. And going back to the professors and teaching, it's really hands-on. Cal Poly is a hands-on school. You get hands-on training, and the teachers really care, and they want you to learn. And there's always interactive events going on at the school. And I know we've shifted to going to online learning, and there's a lot that are still going on through Zoom, and it's still just as fun. And going to the fun projects, there's a lot of projects going on at school all the time. Where I remember when I was at school, during school, we had a project where we built a plane, and it was really fun. And we are still doing this during Zoom, and it's just as fun. Next slide, please. So here's just an example of a project that I did for my electrical class. And as you can see in the picture, it's a circuit board, and we're testing some motors and stuff like that. And this is why labs are important, and they're really great. And Cal Poly focuses on the lab, and it's really awesome because you get to test your skills and perform. And as you can see in the other pictures, here are some online programming with the circuits and electrical, and it's really great because you get the hands-on learning as well as it being online. And next slide, please. So at the end of the day, why Cal Poly Pomona and why I chose Cal Poly is because it's just a great school overall, and the environment. Cal Poly Pomona is in Southern California. It's located in a great area. You're close to a lot of jobs when you leave Cal Poly, and the teachers really care for students, and they show that they want you to succeed. And the connection that you get to industry through your advisors, your professors, it's just a really great all around. And the last part of it is about small classes. You get that hands-on training, the connection to your teachers, and you make connections with the students. And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Hunter. Next, we have another engineering student ambassador, Emi Ogawa. Emi, please.
Thank you, Dr. Young. Hi, everybody. Hope you're all doing well on this Saturday morning. My name is Emmy, and I'm a graduating senior in the Mechanical Engineering Department. I'm also the president of the Engineering Student Council that oversees the 50-plus engineering clubs that we have here, and I'm a student ambassador that represents the college at events like this one today. In the spring, I'll be graduating with a bachelor's degree, and I'm starting a full-time position with Maxar Technologies as a mechanical design engineer. All of this is possible because I made the choice to come to Cal Poly Pomona. Next slide, please. Growing up, I was really lucky because I knew a lot of engineers, and that's me on the right over there with the first Mars rover arm. I knew that this is what I wanted to do from when I was really little, but I hardly ever saw young women or women of color like me in engineering. When I started high school, I started taking engineering classes, and it often felt like I walked into the wrong classroom and everyone was staring at me. I had the opportunity in high school to visit Cal Poly Pomona's campus and tour their labs, and it completely changed my outlook. In addition to the amazing lab equipment and opportunities, I saw girls in the classes and other people of color, and I knew that this is where I wanted to be. So here I am. For my very first semester, I was taking engineering classes. My first ME class was actually to build a robot that could navigate a course all on its own. After my second year, I went out and I applied for my first internship. The skills and software that I had practiced in my labs were all that they talked about in my technical interview, and I knew that was why I ended up getting the job. That summer, I got to work on the robotic arm that just went up on the Mars rover this summer. That feeling of not belonging didn't go away, though. I was almost always the youngest person in the room and often the only female. A few times people even assumed that I was the receptionist. But I knew that because I was a Cal Poly engineer, that in itself gave me a seat at the table. Next slide, please. Outside of academics, Cal Poly Pomona has also nurtured my other skills. I have been able to grow so much as a leader and get involved with the college. I have been the president of the Engineering Council that leads and creates events for our engineering student leaders for the past 2 years, and also held positions in our national organization. Also, I was on our school's dance team for 2 years, and I got to cheer on our Division II sports teams. I found where I belonged at Cal Poly Pomona, and I realized that Cal Poly Pomona engineers are diverse. Our motto, learn by doing, prepared me for the career that I wanted. I'm so proud to be a Cal Poly Pomona engineer, and I know that you will be too. Thank you for taking the time to allow me to share my passion for engineering and for Cal Poly Pomona with you today.
Thank you, Amy. Next, we have our last ESA speaker, Aaron Tillerman. Aaron, please.
Thank you, Dr. Young. Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a good morning. My name is Aaron Thielman. I'm a third year in chemical engineering. I'm aspiring for an MD PhD, and I'm involved in a variety of clubs on campus, including the pre-medical student organization, the engineering student ambassadors, and Greek life. I'm also an EMT and an elementary school instructor. And what I hope to do for you today is explain to you why I chose Cal Poly Pomona and why I continue to do so. Next slide, please. The first thing is that we have a lot of professional experience that you can gain from Cal Poly Pomona, right? We have hands-on labs, which I'm sure you've heard of, but more than that, we have a wide variety of clubs and personalized research experience with professors. All of this gives you many skills that are going to be very helpful for you in your actual jobs. These are things that not all campuses have, but Cal Poly comes in spades. So next slide, please. Touching on those research and internship opportunities, we have direct access to new and exciting research, which will help you get your foot in the door for internships or jobs, right? We also have professional career fairs, which are super helpful for getting you a job right away, right? That many friends go to these career fairs and they just come in with their suit, they come in with their resume, and they get a job immediately. So it's just as easy as that. Next slide, please. And not only that, Dr. Young touched on the variety of career paths that we have with all the different types of engineering, but we're also in the ideal area of Los Angeles, right? So this comes with a high density of STEM-related fields and companies. And given that we're the highest or one of the top STEM schools in the area, this means minimal competition for local companies. Next slide, please. Now, one thing that I wanted to touch on that's very important is the involvement in leadership that you can get involved with on campus. Many engineers get into the field and they have the science, they have the skills, but they just don't have that leadership experience. So what Cal Poly offers is a wide variety of clubs, even beyond engineering, like the student government positions that you can get, and something that I'm in, like the engineering student ambassadors, right? You get many different opportunities to excel in leadership, and this will help you so much in your career path. Next slide, please. The last thing that I wanted to touch on is the importance and amazing diversity that Cal Poly has on campus, right? So in a modern day career, you're going to need to have diverse experience. What Cal Poly offers you is a lot of different diversity amongst your peers and your professors. Picture to the left shows the chemical engineering department, and you see a lot of different faces. What this gives you is a lot of different perspectives that'll help you when you're helping out your clients or when you're helping out your peers and bosses. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for your time. I'm going to pass it off to the next speaker.
Thank you, Aaron, so much. So this concludes our student presentations. Next, we will have quick department introductions. These are like 2-minute elevator pitches. Keep in mind that at the end of the program today, you'll be able to learn more about the individual departments at the individual department Zoom sessions later on today. So the first department introduction is given by Dr. Hang Nguyen of the Aerospace Engineering Department. Dr. Nguyen.
Thank you, Dr. Yuan. Good morning, everybody. Next slide, please. The Aerospace Engineering Department is one of the founding departments of the College of Engineering, and it has been in operation for 63 years. It is fully accredited by ABET, and with a total enrollment of well over 600, it is the largest aerospace program in California. We have 9 full-time faculty specialized in all the major disciplines of aerospace engineering, and more than 15 part-time faculties coming from the industry. Next slide, please. The student takes aerospace courses from the first semester. We use a hands-on approach where freshmen and sophomore build and fly RC airplanes, build and launch model rockets, and run jet engine tests, and perform wind tunnel testing. In their senior years, they work in teams on senior projects and presented them at the annual projects symposium and showcase. These are essentially undergraduate research projects. They also work in team and senior design, where they present the project to aerospace engineer and are judged by them. Next slide, please. The students have won many awards and honors for more than 10 years. In particular, in 2019, they came in first place in AI-AA competition in all 3 areas of spacecraft, aircraft, and launch vehicle, besting other graduate student team. Next slide, please. The 1 year long senior projects address a broad range of research problems, and they range from solid rocket to liquid rockets to unmanned aerial vehicle to space mission designs and aircraft aerodynamics. Next please. Yeah. The aerospace curriculum consists of core courses and technical elective. The core courses and those 7 areas shown right there, and many of the technical elective courses are taught by aerospace engineers with expertise in their field. Next slide, please. For further information, you can contact the department chair, Dr. Ali Ahmadi, at the email and number shown right there. And I hope to see you at the aerospace engineering session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nguyen. Next, we have Dr. Villapanur Ravi of the Chemical and Materials Engineering Department. Dr. Ravi?
Thank you, Associate Dean Ron Young. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for making time to come on a Saturday and visit with us. I'm the Department Chair for Chemical and Materials Engineering. Let me welcome you on behalf of our CME family. You see our celebration. We had our 50th birthday party a few years ago, and you can see a range of our family here, from the potentially new generation here on the right, all the way through retired faculty. So we are now at 55 years of a rich tradition and history. Next slide, please. We offer 3 programs: the BS in Chemical Engineering, the minor in Materials Engineering, and the MS in Engineering with an emphasis in materials. Basically, you know, when students come and talk to me, they think about chemistry and engineering being combined to form chemical engineering, and that's a good way to think about it. Essentially, chemical engineers find efficient ways to transform raw materials to useful products. We are also closely offering materials engineering as a minor, as a professional enrichment as well. And materials underlie everything in the world, as you can tell. They are everywhere. You saw the Dean talk about automobiles, aircraft, bridges. Everything is made up of materials. Next slide, please. And in our CME department, we have these 3 important characteristics: an excellent education in a caring environment, outstanding opportunities for career and professional development, and a very diverse department. Next slide, please. It's like a wheel of fortune here. You can end up in many places, and we can discuss this in our private session in the department. And our students work on several local companies and international companies. Next slide, please. And these are some examples of faculty working with students at conferences, you know, presenting papers, and so forth. Next slide, please. You will see these 2 next faculty in the next session who will be joining us. This is Professor Jia Lee and Professor Hussein Yukar. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. Next, we have Dr. Yasser Salam from the Civil Engineering Department. Dr. Salam, please.
Thank you, Dr. Young. On behalf of my colleagues in the Civil Engineering Department, I want to welcome you to our session. And I want to start by why Civil Engineering Department. I always tell my students, when you go to a professional organization or a meeting and people do not know you, they ask you 2 questions. And based on your answer in these 2 questions, they form a perception about you. Where do you go to school and where do you work? And you're making the right decision by going to the right school. You know, civil engineering at Cal Poly is one of the reputable programs in California. We've been offering degrees since 1961. Civil engineering, like the rest of the programs in the College of Engineering, emphasized learn by doing. As a matter of fact, 2 to 3 of every 10 engineers in the state of California are graduate from our program. Next slide, please. So yeah, I mean, we have about 1,400 students, and we expect that number to grow. As a matter of fact, we are one of the largest department in the college, and we are one of the largest civil engineering department in the nation. So there is a power on that number and that size. And as I said earlier, whenever you go, you'll find alumni or a graduate from the civil engineering department at Cal Poly Pomona. Next slide, please. This slide shows the job market and the prospect of our graduates. And as a matter of fact, during COVID, one of the few sectors in the economy that's still doing well and doing actually better than the rest of the sector of the economy is construction. And you know, construction tracked with it other sector of civil engineering, such as structural, geotechnical, geospatial surveying. So many of our students are landing jobs while they are at school, and they are offered very competitive salary, and you know, big majority of them work in reputable corporation and company in California and in the national level as well. Next slide, please. This slide again shows the average salary, and I think Dr. Young hit on that at the beginning of the presentation. And you know, just last week I wrote a letter of recommendation from one of my students who was offered a signing bonus. I mean, you'd expect it's tough to get this in this economy, but he's getting signing bonus just to get a job. So the time that you'll spend here in the program will be very rewarding for a career that you know, we hope that we all you know, succeed on. Next slide, please. Thank you again, and I'm sure we'll see you in a little bit, and we'll answer your questions. And for future communication, please contact myself, Yasser Salem, or Dr. Lisa Wang. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Salem. Next, we have Dr. Kim of the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department. Dr. Kim, please.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Young, for introduction. Welcome to our session. So we have a 2-degree electrical and computer engineering. As you see, we have an electrical engineering degree, which is deal with communication, electronics, semiconductor, control and robotics, and power engineering. Also, we have a computer engineering, which is deal with microprocessor, embedded system, computer network, software engineering, and security and machine learning. And electrical and computer engineering prepare for you wide range of the career options, including not just electrical and computer engineering company, biomedical engineering, aerospace engineering, computer software, semiconductor, or sometimes, you know, solar energy harvesting distribution. Next slide, please. And there are 3 exciting things about ECE. We are one of the largest departments in the college. We have about 1,000 students, undergrad students. And for the undergraduate degree, we have ranked at the 11th best undergraduate engineering program without the PhD program. For the electrical engineering degree, we are ranked nationally about 19th, according to American Society of Engineering Education. For the computer engineering, nationally ranked at 24th as the largest number of the degree awarded to the same institution. Next slide, please. So if you have any question, you can send us email to our chair, Dr. Halima Laga, or ece@cpp.edu. So, you know, we hope to see our breakout session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. Next, we have Dr. Scott Boscovich of the Electromechanical Engineering Technology Department. Dr. Boscovich.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Young. Yes, I'm Scott Boscovich. I'm from the Electromechanical Engineering Technology Department. And just a couple of things I want to just highlight. You know, we've heard throughout the morning that Cal Poly is just prevalent throughout the engineering community. And before I came to Cal Poly full time, I was a research and design engineer for a major aerospace company. And it was so reassuring that when I graduated from Cal Poly as my undergraduate, that when I went to work in these companies, how many Cal Poly students there were. And it was funny because a lot of other graduates from other schools would say, how are you doing research and design for this company? And I said, I'm a Cal Poly graduate. It was that hands-on experience that we learned as an undergrad that really propelled us to go into that opportunity at these companies. And so, like everyone has already said before, we're a hands-on type of education. And so if we can go to the next chart. One of the things we focus on in electromechanical engineering, both mechanical and electrical systems in our program, is that hands-on approach, where we take a theoretical topic and we take it all the way through the engineering design problem, where we start with simulation and we model it and we design it and we build it and we test it and we find out what did work and what didn't work. And so what we want to do is understand how we actually interact and interface the mechanical, electronic, and software systems together. And so we do a lot of hands-on in our department. We do understand the theory and how it applies all the way through with extensive experience from our faculty members. So we're industry focused and we're industry ready. Next chart, please. And so a lot of major companies hire our graduates. And so what we really are looking at doing is we're preparing students to become an engineer that's going to further extend the capabilities in electrical, mechanical, robotics, and test and validation verification. If there's any questions, feel free to email the next slide. Dr. Musavi, he is our chair. He'd be more than happy to answer questions, and I look forward to seeing you all in our discussion session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Baskovich. Next, we have Dr. Cameron Abedini of the Industrial and Manufacturing Engineering Department. Dr. Abedini?
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to make sure that you guys all understand about the impaction. We are one of the departments that's not impacted, and the main reason for it is there's such a high demand for industrial and manufacturing engineering that we're trying to accept as many so we can provide the need for the industry. We grew from about 200 to about 650 students within the last few years. I just wanted to make sure that you understand what the concept of industrial and manufacturing engineering is in a minute or so. So without reading the definitions, just imagine if you wanted to peel a potato, a mechanical engineer would go ahead and design a knife. A chemical and materials engineer would find the material that is needed for the blade and the handle and so on. And then a manufacturing engineer would say that this is how you would make one knife, okay? So they come with a process. They're not product designers, they're process designers. And then the industrial engineer says that, oh, you want millions of these knives? Let me tell you how to make a mass production of these knives, okay? So an industrial engineer gets into factory design, mass production, and a manufacturing engineer would say how to do it. So we're both type of process designers. The same idea, just applied to potato, for example. If you wanted to peel a potato at home, there's one process involved, but if you wanted to peel potatoes, millions of pounds of potatoes for Frito-Lay every day to make potato chips, there would be another type of process. So that's basically what manufacturing and industrial engineers do to come up with mass production as much as possible. Same idea for production of aircrafts. For Boeing, same idea for production of cars at Tesla. Next, please. We started with about 5, and we have about 13 full-time faculty members and many part-timers. And yes, we're ranked number 2. We'll talk about this later on. And again, if we were impacted, we would be number 1. But we don't want to be impacted. That's the reason we're number 2 in the nation. And next, please. In terms of the number of units, kind of like most other engineering programs, we have to take about 127 to 128 units. And as you see, we have labs associated with almost all our courses. And we have a variety of different student clubs that I will talk about a little bit more in the future. The best part of it is when we go to any of the competitions, we're the university to beat, basically. Next, please. Thank you very much. Hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you, Dr. Abedini. Next, we have Dr. Campbell Dinsmore of the Mechanical Engineering Department. Dr. Dinsmore.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Young, and thank you all for spending a bit of your Saturday with us. I'm Dr. Campbell Dinsmore, one of the faculty members in the Mechanical Engineering Department, and I'm actually an alum from this very same department. And so today I'm just going to give you a quick flavor for mechanical engineering and a quick flavor for Cal Poly Pomona and the ME department here. So starting off with some definitions. what we can see from Oxford is that they consider mechanical engineering to center around machines. Now, that is true, but as you'll see here in a moment, that's wholly inadequate. When we look at Columbia University, they do describe us as being one of the most diverse and versatile engineering fields. And they describe mechanical engineering as working with objects and systems in motion. Well, that's interesting. That's a little bit different than machines, wouldn't you say? Wikipedia, I kind of like theirs a little bit. They bring in engineering physics and mathematical principles, including material science. But then they kind of wiggle out of it by saying for mechanical systems. Well, what's a mechanical system? Is it something that a mechanical engineer produces? Well, that's a little bit of a circular argument there. But they do capture that we are the broadest of one of the broadest of the engineering branches. So why does mechanical engineering defy description? If you can go to the next slide, please. It's because we are one of the broadest engineering fields. We deal with so many different physical phenomena that it's really hard to kind of wrap your hands around what a mechanical engineer is. We deal with mechanics, we deal with mechanics of materials. We do have a material science component as well. We deal with fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, control systems, as you can see, also robotics. So next slide, please. So now that you have a little bit of a flavor for mechanical engineering and how diverse it is, let's look at Cal Poly a little bit. So hopefully you've kind of gotten the idea that one of our favorite things here, one of our favorite themes is learning by doing. And we want to expose our students to theory one moment and turn right back around and have them working with it in a hands-on environment the next. And so you can see that we have a number of student projects pictured here. And so that's what we try to do at this school and in our department is we try to reinforce those two aspects of engineering, the theory and the practice. Next slide, please. And so one of the things that we have to offer in the department are lots of labs. So that's one of the things that we want to do in addition to student projects. We try to get you hands-on access to the physical behaviors through our significant number of labs. And next slide. And because we do such a good job with getting our students ready to go and teaching them what they need to know about mechanical engineering, we have a lot of employers who come to our college, first of all, as well as our department to hire our graduates. Next slide, please. And so I'd like to thank you, and I hope you'll be joining us in the department briefing, and I'm leaving you with some MIMS photos here, and one more slide, I think, and our contact information for our chair is Dr. Shui, and you also have some additional information there for the department.
Thank you, Dr. Dinsmore. This concludes the department introductions. Next, we have presentations by two university officers. The first one is by Saul Ramirez of the Office of Financial Aid. Saul, please.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Saul Ramirez, the lead coordinator in the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. So I have a very brief overview, high-level overview of what financial aid is, who we are, and what we do. Hopefully by now, if you are starting in August of the upcoming year, August 2021, you have already filled out your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application. If not, please do so as soon as possible. If you can, hopefully take the holidays to complete that. But one of the things that we do is we evaluate aid eligibility. We do this by verifying application information. So once you filled out your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application, we ensure that there is no discrepancies. If there are discrepancies, we work with students to clear any discrepancies to ensure that we are evaluating your aid eligibility accurately, correctly. Once we've done both of those things, we package your financial aid. Obviously, we award students their aid eligibility based on information that we receive from your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application. That may include, your package may include any grants, loans, potentially scholarships, federal work study. So we make that determination after verifying your application information and evaluating your eligibility. After that, then we release the funds to student accounting and cashiering services, and we let them know, hey, the student's receiving X amount of dollars, apply them to their balance and pay for the balance. If there's money left over, you would then get a refund. Next slide, please. The other thing that we do is we evaluate special circumstances and changes. We realize that the FAFSA asks you for very specific information that may be different than your current situation. So we have appeal processes to evaluate any of these changes. We provide counseling and advising services. We have professional staff members and peer members to help students in remote work environment right now. We have email and phones, but once we do return to on-campus, we'll have on-campus resources as well. And we are heavily regulated, so we ensure that we are compliant with federal and state regulations. And we lastly oversee scholarships. We're in the middle of a scholarship fest right now, October 1st to March 2nd. So if you are starting next year, again, August of 2021, make sure you check out Scholarship Fest. Engineering scholarships will soon be posted within the next couple of weeks. So those will be available for you to apply. Next slide. So Project Caminos, I do want to mention this. They are not with financial aid, but they are one of our partners. Check them out. They offer support to prospective students and families in transitioning to Cal Poly Pomona. Follow them on their social media. You have their social media listed on here. Check them out. Their website is also listed. Next slide. You have our contact information. I realize that this does not even touch on the questions that you may have. You can reach out to us via email, fin8@cpp. If you have scholarship related questions, you can reach us at scholarships@cpp. And I hope to see you at the department session, and I'd be more than happy to answer specific questions there for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Saul. Next, we have Matilda Obaseki of the Office of Outreach and Recruitment. Matilda, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Young. My name is Matilda Obaseki with Outreach Department. And this morning we've heard a lot about our Learn by Doing approach. So let's talk numbers for Cal Poly Pomona. We are considered a mid-sized campus with approximately 28,000 because we are growing. And the majority of our students are undergraduates. Our undergraduate class size is about 32 students. And for graduate, is 13. Next slide, please. In terms of students that got admitted for fall 2020, we actually received over 55,000 applications and admitted over 36,000. And we enrolled the largest class ever for both first-time freshmen and upper division transfers. And the average GPA for transfers was a 3.23 and a 3.57 for freshmen. And GPA really varies by program. Next slide, please. Okay, in terms of application and deadlines, the application filing period is open for fall of 2021, and the deadline is December 4th, and admissions decisions will go out between February and March. And also deadlines for AP scores as well as final transcripts will be July 15th. Can we go to the next slide, please? You can go ahead and take a picture of this slide because this is what our office does. We give tours on a daily basis, twice a day. We meet with students all the time. And for those students that want pre-admission advising, they can go ahead and get a Zoom or a phone appointment. So students can reach out to us every day. Our phone number from 8 to 5, somebody will actually answer that live. And as a matter of fact, today at 12:30, we do have a webinar that will include the admission piece, also financial aid, the Kellogg Honors Program. And also in this, I'll urge students, if you have time, to go to the admission piece because for first-time freshmen, admission for 2021, the SAT and ACTs have been suspended. So the admission requirements have changed slightly. And thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in the next session.